The Nigeria Labour Congress has picketed the Office of Trust Fund Pension Limited, a pension fund administrator, for activities deemed abuses of Nigeria's labour laws and for laying off 45 staff without due process. Engaging the services of contract staff is another action of the pension fund administrator that has prompted the action of the labour union. Staff of the pension fund administrator were barred from accessing their workplaces as early as 7 in the morning, with members of the NLC stationed around the premises to ensure strict enforcement of the lockdown. The NLC threatens to picket Trust Fund Pensions are limited if they fail to address the alleged breach of labour laws.
The management of Trust Fund just threw away 45 workers, and under the guise that they are doing routine management, reappraisal and all of that. I will consider that to be a redundancy exercise. And to have a redundancy exercise, whether by our Labour Act, whether by standard labour practices, require that the employer discuss with the union, even where there is no union, that the employer discuss with the representative of the workers. That didn't happen in the case of Trust Fund. Beyond that, they also engage in contract and outsource employment, which denigrate our people. Many workers with Trust Fund, particularly at the junior level, cleaners, the security men, earn less than 30,000 minimum wage in 2024. That's completely unacceptable. But before we reach here, we've tried to open the process of dialogue to engage them, but because they are not used to that standard practice of engaging labor in a productive way, they felt management has a right to do whatever it does.
Trust Fund Pension over the years has engaged in a lot of anti-labor activities, which we have attempted to engage them, and they have not yielded. And so we are saying that the sacking of these workers was unjust, did not follow due process, was arbitrary, and justice must be done.
Well, let's bring in Echezona Asuzu, who is the Principal Assistant General Secretary, Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC. Good to see you, and thanks for your time.
First,
what's this about? What's the racket about this? Because every time we talk about dismissing people, not following due process, or we talk about going against labor laws, it's kind of foggy sometimes until we get to have to ask this question. What specifically would you say the trust fund did?
Well, the trust fund first is an organization, a company that even the Nigeria Labour Congress has a business interest in, because we're one of the shareholders, major shareholders in trust.
Let's take that again.
Yeah.
That the NLC
we have
is a major shareholder.
Yeah, in the trust fund.
In its trust fund.
Yeah, and what we did today is to send a statement that if we can do this with our own, then we'll be tied any employer who tries to deny workers their fundamental rights, including the right to unionization, right to association, which are guaranteed by the Nigerian Constitution, by the Trade Union Act, and by labor laws, and also other international conventions. So we're saying, today we made a very clear statement. Trust fund pension is not the worst in terms of the way workers are treated. They don't have the worst kind of policies, but we just want them to be the best in terms of industrial policies. And so we say, look, you have to up your game, you have to be at the best, so that when we also go against other employers, recalcitrant employers who undermine workers' rights, we'll have a very clear justification. So we started with our own, so we're coming for every other employer of labor that undermine workers' rights.
So 45 people laid off, and you say, well, they were dismissed without following due process. You want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, I think the company probably trying to weigh the tide of inclement business environment, decided to lay off workers. A number of companies, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world have done that. But then we're saying you can't do that without following the due process of the law. We have the law in the favor of the workers that says you need to do A, B, C, D. You have Section 20 of the Labour Act that specifies what you need to do if you want to render some workers or some of the employees redundant. And we believe that was not followed fully to the full intent of the law. And we just brought the attention of Trust Fund to that, to say that you need to do the needful, you need to follow the law. And part of our demand is that Trust Fund should be able to allow workers to unionize. You wouldn't say you are satisfying, your workers are happy when they are not unionized, because to deny workers the right to belong to a union is actually to condemn them to slave labor. And we say no, it can't happen, not in the 21st century, not under our watch.
And you say they still have what you call casualized labor force.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
At this place. In this case, or in an ideal situation for a company that says, well, we don't have the financial muscle to take in more, what do they do?
Whatever your recruitment policies are, we expect you to abide by some basics. And those basics are already specified by law. You need to ensure that workers get a contract. There must be a contract, and then also you also ensure that the basic wages, I mean talk of minimum wages, those are things that are in law. You should be able to obey that. And then when we see companies saying we are sourcing workers, we're getting workers from special services, security, cleaners, and all that, and then you condemn them to wages that are below the minimum wage, that is totally unacceptable. For trust fund workers, yes, it's not entirely that they pay below minimum wage, but by the time you calculate the deductions, deductions here, there, the final take home is actually below minimum wage. I would say no, that's not good enough. You cannot say yes, I pay what I pay in the lump sum is bigger than minimum wage, but what the worker finally takes home is below minimum wage. How would you expect the worker to succeed? Just a few days ago, we celebrated May Day, and the theme for this year's May Day was people first. People must come before profit. Because it is people that generate profit. So if you want to place profit before the people, then you have big problems with us. We must just come out of this era of dehumanization. The indignity of labor. Like Karl Marx said, he said that recalcitrant employers of labor, they would want to trample on workers' rights and then render their toil valueless, and then by so doing toss it aside. And that's not what we want. We want workers' contribution to be valued, because workers create the wealth. Without workers, no wealth creation. So we want every employer of labor in Nigeria to please take note that workers deserve dignity of labor, so that you can also guarantee sustainability in business. So
Asuzu, conflict, action, dialogue, resolution, where are we at this point with Trust Fund?
Gratefully, the management of Trust Fund, I think they've quickly come to understand that we are serious about this, because we've been engaging on this matter for some time, and they felt, oh, we are members of the family, or we are protected. They say, no, we are not protected. Once we see violation of workers' rights, we're going to come in and we're going to take action. And that's what we did today. And they came, and we met, we discussed, and we were able to reach some resolutions and some settlement. Very good, progress was made. And first is that they're going to look at the issue of casualization, and then leave the status of workers, the workers in the lower rungs of employment, talk of cleaners, talk of security personnel. They're going to do something about the wages to make sure that they have some kind of livable wages. Maybe not entirely living wages, but at least some livable, at least something better than what they're earning now. And then also we discussed about having Trust Fund to reconsider the sacking of the 45 workers, because if you must sack, Section 20 of the Labour Act says first is that you consult with trade unions, the workers' representations, in such organization. That was not done. Now it has to be done. We're sure that by tomorrow we'll start the process of fully putting in place workers' organization and workers' representative units in the Trust Fund, and making sure that every worker in Trust Fund has a voice and has a sense of being here.
And this is Trust Fund. Before you go, are there others you're hoping to visit?
Definitely. Throughout the entire, subsector, pension administration subsector, a lot of infractions of labor rights a lot of dehumanization are going on. And under the presidency of Joe Ajaero, he has made a commitment that he's going to tackle this menace and give back workers, the dignity that rightly belongs to them. So expect us at your door if you're undermining workers' rights, if you're not allowing unionization, if you're paying slave wages, if you are investing in casualization, if you are giving to workers what you cannot give to your dog. Expect us at your door.
Asuzu, it's a delight speaking with you.